And we're live again.
Hi.
So this week we are talking about, I guess, the larger topic of flex time, and this was kind of brought to the forefront with an article that was recently written and posted about how IBM is basically taking all of the employees that they granted flex time and the ability to work from home, and they're essentially recalling them to the mothership, right? So they're giving them, I think it's the option of 6 locations globally, which is kind of cool, to come work at. So basically, if you work from home currently for IBM from wherever you are, you now either have to find a new job or move your entire life to one of these 6 global locations to now have the privilege to go work in an office every day.
And did they give them a time frame for when that needs to be complete?
I don't know, but I know basically they have the option of taking severance, which, as I understand now from a lot of the comments in the article from people who claim to work at IBM, that's really only a month's pay.
Wow.
It sounded like it's pretty imminent, and they're looking to make that happen at least within the next year.
That's a pretty big ask if you have a family.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, of course, we've seen this happen before. Yahoo.
Yahoo. Yeah.
Something similar. And I really think the jury is either still out on this or not necessarily pointing in its favor for several reasons. I mean, study after study shows that people waste more time in the office than they do when they're working from home. People become overachievers often when they're working from home, in part because they want to compensate. They don't want people to think that they're slacking, as well as the fact that they're able to focus a bit more. You know, we saw in the past decade a real shift to the open floor office plan, and this kind of leveling of everyone, and let's make it all the time collaborative. And while collaboration is fantastic, again, we see articles and studies being written that indicate that people are not able to really focus and think and do the work that they need to in those spaces.
Yeah, I think in the article they interviewed IBM's upper management about the decision, and what they really tried to get across was, we think it's all about the water cooler effect, right? So the more people are together, the more ideas happen, which is fine. But I think going from taking such an absolute approach where it's no more working from home, everybody has to be in an office. I don't think you can coerce innovation. I think that's been tried and failed, time and time again. But I think the bigger issue is, maybe taking a more pragmatic approach. So, a lot of the comments again, the article from the article were, why don't you give the employees some say in this, right? So maybe there's 2 or 3 days that are dedicated, like meeting and collaboration days, where you go in and you're face to face, and then there's a couple days work from home.
I think it's absolutely that. When it's all or nothing, that becomes really challenging.
Yeah, and it's also just very blind to the fact that, maybe with this current workforce, they can have that happen and they can be okay, and they'll continue to be IBM and do their thing. But if you look at the next coming generations, they're not going to tolerate that kind of thing.
No, and giving them that kind of flex time allows them to be full human beings. And when you're a full human, you're a happier person and you're a better worker.
Right. No, I think, and obviously we're a bit biased because we both work remotely pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
And, I think the biggest change for me, at least when, after having a job where I had to go somewhere and be at a place every day for a certain amount of time, the biggest thing was honestly the commute. And the fact that more and more of us are living in cities now or around cities where traffic is a major issue. Even if you take public transportation, you're giving up 2 hours of your day. And I basically, at the time, towards the tail end, I had it calculated that I would actually give up an entire work week in commuting every month. So that's a week. That's 40 hours that most workers, I would say, are wasting a month.
Absolutely. And then especially if you're a woman and you have to get ready for the office,
Hmm.
that every single day, that's an ordeal, you know, and you are investing money and time into your work appropriate attire and doing your hair and makeup. And also, you know, if you have a family, you then have to do some extra legwork to make sure that everything is accounted for in your full absence. Whereas if you were home, the minutes that you're spending commuting or getting ready or you know, chatting with coworkers about something unrelated to work could be spent dealing with and you know, mitigating some stuff at home that you don't then have to deal with later. And I think, you know, to go back to your earlier point about the idea that they want that
The
serendipity.
water cooler effect.
Yes, that, you
Yeah.
know, Steve Jobs was kind of big on and famous for, and how he designed some of the offices. I think that there is validity to that, but as you point out, it doesn't need to be every single day from 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You know, just making it that there are specific times when you have FaceTime and when you need to be completely present and available. I think most companies will find that those employees are more present and bring more to the table if they're also given this other flex time to do their work. You know, the other thing is that there's new research out that shows that we aren't all optimal at the same hours.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
8 a.m. for every single one of us. So, you know, and people we work with as well, some of them do their work really late at night. And
Yeah.
that's where they're most productive. And that allows us to get the best talent and to get them in their prime. And so when you restrict that, again, all these restrictions, I think often do more harm than good. And I think there is this sort of Silicon Valley effect on a lot of companies where they start to think, well, if I put a foosball table in the break room, then it's innovative and fun and people will just want to be here and everything will turn out better.
And it very well could be, but the issue is, I think, and the point that you're driving towards is the fact that if they don't have time to be productive and actually just get things done,
Yeah.
then nobody wants to play foosball when they have 8 deadlines looming, right?
Well, it also depends on what kind of work you're doing. You know, I spend a lot of time writing and thinking, and if I have someone interrupting me every 5, 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
I have to, you end up needing to take home a lot of that work.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's off the clock time.
Yeah.
That's not, it doesn't come out of the company's time, right? It comes out of the personal time. So the kids get ignored, and
And
your
again,
personal
you're a less happy person
time. Yeah.
as a result, and that is dragged into the workplace. So tell us your thoughts. Do you work at a company where you have some flex time? Do you have to be in the office every day and at set hours? How is that currently being managed, or how have you seen it managed? So please join the conversation in the comments, reach out to us, and we'll be back next week.
Yep. See you next week.